What happens when a team stops believing? What happens when a team loses heart? Because when morale goes down, everything feels harder. Energy drops, focus drops, effort drops, and even strong people can start playing small. But when morale is high, people rise. They believe again. They work with energy. They work with confidence. And what was once impossible starts to look possible. That is the power of high morale. Hello, my friends, and welcome to Living the Laws. I'm Larry Law Sr., and this is another edition of Wednesday Wisdom Live. Whether you're joining us live or catching the replay, I'm glad you're here. This is your midweek reset, a place where leaders like you come to recharge, refocus, and rise in your leadership journey. And as we get started, I want you to reflect on something. What kind of leader are you becoming? If you have never taken time to assess your leadership strengths and blind spots, I've created a leadership assessment designed to give you clarity. At any point during this session, simply comment leadership and I'll send you the link. On today's video, we're diving into the law of morale. When you're winning, nothing hurts. Now, that does not mean high morale removes problems. It means high morale changes how people respond to their problems. A team with high morale still faces pressure, still faces obstacles, it still faces setbacks, but it does not surrender to them. That is why morale matters so much. Morale is not shadow. Morale is not hype. Morale is not pretending something is easy. Now, morale is the inner strength of a team. And when morale is high, it becomes a multiplier. Maxwell says high morale is the great exaggerator. When morale is high, everything feels so more possible. Preparation feels smoother. Communication feels stronger. Confidence rises. And in the great elevator, morale lifts performance. It rises commitment. It helps people focus on potential instead of just problems. It is the great energizer. People keep going. They stay engaged. They bring effort and consistency. It is the great eliminator. Obstacles that would stop weak teams become challenges. A strong team works together. And high morale creates breathing room. It gives people space to think bigger. It takes risks and try new ideas. So here's the key. This is the key thought for today. Morale is not just a mood. Morale is a multiplier. And as leaders, we must know how to build. We must know how to build it, store it, and protect it. I want you to walk with me through this. I want to walk through 4 levels of morale. The first level is poor morale. At this first stage, the leaders must do everything. This is when the team is discouraged, disconnected, and drained. People may still be present physically, but mentally and emotionally, they have checked out. They are tired. They're frustrated. They may feel like their efforts no longer matters. At this stage, the leader must carry the weight. The leader must investigate the situation, initiate belief, create energy, and communicate hope. In other words, the leader must become the thermostat, not the thermometer. Do not just read the room, change the room. I saw it clearly in the Army. There were seasons when the mission was heavy, the pressure was high, and demands was real. In those moments, if the leader walked in discouraged, the entire team felt it. But when the leader walked in with calm, confidence, and direction, something shifted. The atmosphere changed. There was a difference between saying, we have a problem, and saying, we have a problem, but we're going to solve it. We're going to solve it together. That difference is morale. When morale is poor, people do not first need a lecture. They need hope. They need clarity. They need belief. So if your team is in this stage, ask yourself, have I diagnosed the real issue? Have I spoke belief into my people? Have I brought or have I only brought pressure? Did I bring energy or did I just bring pressure? Because in this one, leadership is not optional. It is essential. The next level of morale is low morale. At this point, the leader must do productive things. The team is no longer completely stuck, but it still lacks. It lacks momentum. There is some momentum, but not enough. Not much confidence. Some effort, but not enough rhythm. This is where the leader must create small wins. Maxwell says you cannot steer a parked car. That is powerful. Some leaders wait for people to feel confident before asking them to move. But many times, movement creates confidence. At this stage, the leader must model productive behavior, build relationships with people of potential, create small victories, and communicate vision. I've seen this firsthand, time and time again. Sometimes people come to my nonprofit, First Home Alliance. They're overwhelmed. They're carrying fear, financial pressure, uncertainty, and shame. They're not ready yet to believe in the full journey towards stability or homeownership. So we do not start with the whole mountain. We start with the next step. Let's gather the documents. Let's review the budget. Let's work on the credit. Let's stabilize the situation. Let's create one win, and one win becomes another and another. That is how morale rises. Low morale teams do not spin. They do not need leaders who only make big speeches. They need leaders who help them build momentum. That is the lesson here. Progress fuels morale. Sometimes morale does not rise because of one dynamic breakthrough. It rises because a leader helps the team make the next good move. Level 3, moderate morale. Here the leader must do difficult things. Now we come to this critical stage that is often the make or break stage. The team has some confidence, there's progress, there's potential, but now the leader must make hard decisions. The leader must make changes that improves the team, gain buy-in, communicate confidence, and develop people for success. This is not easy. This is not easy leadership. This is courageous leadership, because once a team starts improving, it becomes inviting to protect comfort rather than pursue growth. But moderate morale is not the finish line, it is the bridge. Not everybody welcomes change. Not everybody welcomes change right away, even when it is needed. But real leaders do not just protect feelings, they protect the mission. And this is where trust matters. If people trust the leader, they will follow through. They will follow through even with difficult changes. If they do not trust the leader, they will resist. And the very thing that could make them better. That is why commitment must be visible. The leader must say, we're going higher. We're going first. This stage reminds us that morale is built only through encouragement. It's built through growth, discipline, and development. A team with moderate morale needs more motivation. It needs maturity. The fourth and final level of high morale. At this stage, the leader must do little things. This is where teams are aligned, energized, and committed. They believe in the mission. They trust each other. They see progress, and they move with confidence. At this point, the leader's role shifts. The leader must keep the team focused, communicate successes, remove morale mashers, and allow other leaders to lead. This is powerful. High morale does not mean the leader becomes unnecessary. It means the leader becomes more strategic. I remember times in the military when morale was high and the team was locked in. People anticipated needs. They supported one another. Standards stayed high because beliefs stayed high. And I've seen it the same thing in the community, in my community work. When people can see the mission, when they see the mission working, when they see families stabilized, credit restored, homes preserved, and the first time home buyers crossing the finish line, morale rises because purpose becomes visible. And when morale is high, the leader does not have to push every step. The team starts pulling each other. But high morale must be protected. One negative spirit can spoil a healthy environment. One unchecked attitude can drain momentum. That is why leaders must remove morale smashers. Those behaviors, attitudes, and patterns that consistently pull the team down. So here's the final lesson. When morale is high, stay humble. Stay focused. Celebrate the wins. Protect the culture. And keep developing leaders. Because the best picture of leadership is this. The leader boosts the morale of the team. And the team boosts the morale of the leader. That is the cycle of healthy leadership. So let me leave you with this question. What level of morale is your team? Where are you right now? Is it poor? Low? Moderate? Or high? And more importantly, what does your leadership need to do next? Because high morale does not happen accidentally. It happens when leaders bring hope, create momentum, make hard charges, and protect the culture. And when that happens, teams do not just survive, they thrive. Until next time, stay wise, stay disciplined, and stay intentional. When preparation meets purpose, opportunity has no choice but to follow. If today's message resonated with you, your next step is clarity. I invite you to take the leadership assessment. It will help you identify where you are as a leader, uncover your strengths, and reveal your next move. Simply comment leadership, and we'll send you the link. Keep living the laws. I'm Larry Laws Sr., reminding you to think before you move and to make your next move your best move.